Please put your hands together for Corey Hort on double bass. Please welcome to the stage award-winning international blues acclaimed guitarist Cal Williams Jr. How y'all doing? Are you ready to get bluesy? Cannon got it, whoop! Whoop, whoop!
I know my dog, where I hear him bark. Know my right, I feel her in the dark. Oh, but mother, want me out her way. That's right, mom, gonna need my help someday. Didn't love me, stretched out across my bed, drinking moonshine whiskey and talking out loud your head. She's cold-blooded mother, want me out her way. That's right, mama, gonna need my help someday. Ain't two type of people, it's a world that I can't stand. Lying woman, cheating monkey man. You say you didn't love me, stretched out across my bed, drinking moonshine whiskey and talking out loud your head. You know my dog, anywhere I hear him bark, I know my right, I feel her in the dark. She's a cold-blooded mother, want me out her way. Oh, that's right, mom, gonna need my help someday. Gonna introduce the band, this is Corey Hort on double bass. Mary Therese on percussion.
Okay, keep your hands clapping. Okay, ready for this? I think I like clapping here. Okay, let's get on with the show, shall we? Woo! Give yourselves a clap.
Well, I know my dog, where I hear him bark. I know my rider, feel her in the dark. She's a cold-blooded mother, want me out her way. Well, that's right, Mama, gonna need my help someday. I know my dog, anywhere I hear him bark. Well, I know my rider, I feel her in the dark. Thank you. Welcome to the Texas and Carolina Blues, and this is the. So if someone asked me at the bar, they said, "What's the difference between why are you doing different regions?" And I said, "Very good question." So basically, the answer is that so there's two different regions of blues, and we just want to kind of highlight the difference between them. So Carolina Blues is more Appalachian blues, what they call Piedmont blues, and Piedmont blues is kind of more European, Scottish and Irish music. So the immigrants who came over to America, and a lot more integrated than the Texas blues. So they sort of, so the African Americans and the Europeans and Scottish people, they basically learned a lot off each other as well. And so the whole 12-bar blues thing we'll talk about in the next set basically is all about the European tradition. It's like a folk tradition basically that the blues formed around. So so there's a lot of bit of crossover between the two styles. So that song, by the way, is a Blind Boy Fuller, and so in blues, you may have noticed there's lots of blind musicians. So it's like a Blind Boy Fuller, Blind Willie Johnson, Blind Lemon Jefferson, Blind Blake. And I often wondered why they were all blind, because wearing glasses myself, I thought it was kind of halfway there. So it was, the reason mainly was because they couldn't work in the fields. So basically, the only job they could do was actually play music, and the only job I could do was play music as well. So it kind of made sense. But basically, they would. So you had people like him, you had Pegleg Howell, Cripple Clarence Lofton, all these people who basically couldn't work in the fields, and they bussed on the streets like Blind Willie Johnson did, and made their money that way. But also the other thing as well is that when you're working in the fields, if you could play a guitar, you could actually get out of field work and actually sit up on the house and actually play music. That was another way of getting out of work, which is actually another way I get out of work as well. So it's so I saw the parallels start forming, which was nice. So there's also a guy called Blind Ben Covington as well, who was actually a bogus blind Ben Covington, who actually was a bogus blind performer who actually pretended he was blind on the streets of Mississippi to actually make some money. He was also a blind juggler as well, which I think was kind of a bit of a giveaway, which is, but no one seemed to notice, which is nice. So this next song I'm going to do is a little song called Cocaine. So this one shows a bit of the Carolina blues sort of idea. So it has a more of a jazz influence in there. 6-2-5-1, which is a little kind of chord progression you don't find a lot in the Mississippi blues or the Texas blues. So kind of a bit more of a jazz sort of influence in there as well. So anyone know what 12-bar blues is around here? Anyone know what 12-bar? Yeah, okay, a few people. So what a 12-bar blues is essentially is kind of how blues works together. So how we communicate as musicians. So so when you have a blues jam, which is why you have lots of blues jams, not country jams or folk jams or jazz jams, because it's a common language, so we can actually play together. So rather than working out a song that we know, like you're into ABBA and I'm into death metal, there's no sort of crossover there. So what 12-bar is, it's a kind of a formula that we play with, and that's basically 3 chords in a formula, and it's a Scottish folk tradition formula. So basically, back in the day when people were travelling around on freight cars and trains and stuff like that, they needed a sort of a song, like a universal song they could play at plantations and work camps and things like that. And so basically these people used to be called bums and hobos, and nowadays they call them musicians. But basically they would have this common language and they could play these work camp songs, which is really good. So sort of a little sideline to that. If you anyone familiar with the film Back to the Future around here? Yep. So there's a bit where Marty McFly at the Enchantment Under the Sea dance. I know it quite well, clearly. A bit of a nerd. But basically there's a bit where he actually says to the band, well, so first of all, the guitarist traps his hand in the car. And so Marty McFly or Michael J. Fox has to become the guitarist. And so he says to the band, songs in B, watch me for the changes. And I often used to wonder, how does the band know what to play? Because they're from 1955 and he's from 1985. How do they jam on this song? It's because it's a 12 bar, so it's 12 bar Johnny Be Good. And then there's that moment where Marvin Berry, that's how well I know this film, Marvin Berry rings up Chuck Berry and says, I've found the sound you've been looking for. And actually, oddly enough, chronologically, that was around the time that rock and roll went from blues to rock and roll. So actually, Back to the Future is actually a documentary. So next time you watch it, you'll appreciate that one. So anyway, this is a little song called Cocaine. This is a song about how cheap cocaine was back in the day. It was also a really catchy tune that all the kids sing along, and then they take it to their schools the next day, and Child Services is called. So it's basically... this is Reverend Gary Davis. Here comes my mama dressed in black. Please, please, mama, I just want you back. Cocaine running round my brain. And I got a woman all dressed in white. And come home, baby, won't you stay the night? Cocaine running round my brain. Here comes my mama all dressed in red. And come home, baby, let's go back to bed. Cocaine running round my brain. And I got a woman all dressed in blue. And come home, mama, I know what to do. Cocaine running round my brain. Come, baby, please come quick. This old cocaine is making me sick. Cocaine running round my brain. Tell us about it, Corey. Corey Hood double bass. Well, cocaine's for horses, not for men. It's gonna kill you, baby, but I won't say when. Cocaine running around my brain. You got a nickel, I got a dime. You buy the coke and I buy the wine. Cocaine running around my brain. Come, baby, please come quick. This old cocaine is making me sick. Cocaine running around my brain. I got a mama dressed in green. I know, mama, just what you seen. Cocaine running around my brain. Here comes my baby all dressed in gray. No, mama, I know what to say. Cocaine running around my brain. Sweet cocaine running around my brain. Your cocaine running round my Thank you. Thank you. Next time we're going to get Mary Therese is going to sing this song. Yeah, give us a woo.
Thank you. So this is a little song that was written by Tommy Dorsey, a trombone player in the jazz. Am I allowed to mention that one?
The Related Man Jazz, yeah.
But Clara Smith took it on. She was a prominent blues musician, and she was known as Queen of the Moaners because back in the time, moaning referred to blues music. I think blues, the word wasn't really used at the time. They used the word moaning, but don't go typing that into your Google machines if you're wanting to find blues music. So yeah, she was Queen of Innuendo, and some of her other songs had titles like Ain't Got No One to Grind My Coffee, Kitchen Mechanic Blues, and most notably, Whip It to a Jelly. Oh. And this one is...
A cooking song, obviously.
Yeah, obviously, a cooking show. So this is called Tight Like That. Listen here, folks, I'm gonna sing a little song, but you mustn't get mad, I don't mean no wrong. There's an old maid named as Liza Fair, always singing that blues when she stumbled in bed. You know it's tight like that.
It's tight like that.
I mean it's tight like that.
It's tight like that.
Hear me talking to ya. I mean it's tight like that. I know a hotel that's called the Slumbering Patch. Got a million bed bugs just to make you scratch. Monkey got up at 2:45, and he said to the flea, quit your picking on me. You know it's tight like that.
It's tight like that.
I mean it's tight like that.
It's tight like that.
Hear me talking to ya. I mean it's tight like that. Let me hear it, Corey. Mandalay Jones got to vamping at night, but she'd never come home till it's calm and daylight. Old Uncle Bill came round at 10:30, put the key in the hole, but he couldn't get in. He said it's tight like that.
It's tight like that.
I mean it's tight like that.
It's tight like that.
Oh, hear me talking to ya. I mean it's tight like that. Well, if you see my bill, tell him to hurry on home. I ain't had no bread since he's been gone. I love a man, slender and trim. Oh, when he struts his stuff, why, it's too bad, Jim. You know it's tight like that.
It's tight like that.
I mean, it's tight like that.
It's tight like that.
You hear me talking to ya. I mean, it's tight like that. How tight is a cow? Well, the little red rooster said to the hen, you ain't laid an egg since I can tell when. The little red hen said to the rooster, you don't come around as often as you used to. Now it's tight like that, a long delay will make it tight like that. Hear what I say, hear me talking to ya. Hear me talking to ya. Hear me talking to ya. I mean it's tight like that.
Okay, so we're going to play the song, a little song called Freight Train. So trains feature a lot in blues music. So the kind of trains and ferries, basically. So the kind of the rhythm of the blues was all based upon this sort of train sort of thing going on there. So a lot of people who are sort of working in the fields kind of heard that every day, hearing these trains going down the tracks. And the that was a train whistle. So you kind of trains going like that, and then sort of thing like that. And that's the kind of the sort of the rhythm that blues is based upon, like that sound. If we're not careful, we'll actually go into a blues from the. I felt like it actually. I felt like to stay. We'll just jam the whole afternoon away. Yeah, no, but that was kind of basically the rhythm of the blues, and those train whistle sounds as well. So that's why all the trains featured, because a lot of transportation around these sort of Mississippi Delta and places like that. So I have this kind of theory as well, where it's backed up by no one's actually sort of confirmed this theory, but basically a lot of the blues is a lot of slow train blues like that, so, and the sort of the ferry like that. So when rock and roll came along, you had more of a sort of a kind of faster blues, basically. So essentially rock and roll is blues on amphetamines. It kind of has that really fast, good golly Miss Molly sort of. And there's basically, back in those days, that's when the motor car had basically been sort of, a lot more people were driving around. So I had this theory where rock and roll is more about the car, and blues is more about the train, basically like that. So that's my theory,
Is that supported by Back to the Future or anything?
Yeah, it's it. I have a lot of time on my hands, but so we're going to do a song. This is by Elizabeth Cotten. So Elizabeth Cotten was basically the maid of Pete Seeger. So Pete Seeger, someone who knows who Pete Seeger is around here. Yeah. So she wrote this song, and she was about 12 or 11 or something. And so she wrote the song and used to sing it around the house. And so then Pete Seeger took it away over to the UK and started singing it over in the UK. And then someone heard it in the UK and then claimed it as their own. So it took about 30, 50 years or something to actually get that song back, so that Elizabeth Cotten could actually re-own her own song. So, it's a great little tune called Freight Train. Would you like to...
we can have a train.
Yeah, have a train, yeah.
Freight train going so fast. Freight train going so fast. Please don't tell what train I'm on. They won't know what route I'm going. When I die, oh, bury me deep down at the end of Old Chestnut Street. Place the stone at my head and my feet. Tell them all I've gone to sleep. My grave, no more good times will I crave. Place the stone at my head and my feet. Tell them all I've gone to sleep. When I die, oh, bury me deep down at the end of Old Chestnut Street, so I can hear old number 9 as she comes rolling by. Freight train going so fast. Freight train going so fast. Please don't tell what train I'm on. They won't know what route I'm going. Freight train going so fast. Freight train going so fast. Please don't tell what train I'm on. They won't know what route I'm going. We love happy songs about death.
So this next song is another train song. So we're going to do this last song, and we'll have a short break. We'll go for a beer and stuff, and then one of those amazing weedy beers. The other reason why the trains also made that sound, that chunky sort of chugging sound, basically, I did a workshop once, and I was talking about that blues train sort of sound, and someone said, well, actually, train tracks don't have the weld anymore between the actual train, between the sleepers. So so you wouldn't get that sound anymore nowadays. So if Japanese blues, it would be like, right? And very, very fast. So it's like, so yeah, it's that chunky sort of sound basically. So anyways, we're gonna do and Pete Seeger, by the way, for anybody who doesn't know, was the guy who actually rumoured to actually have taken an axe to the power supply of Bob Dylan when he went electric. And the reason why I know that song, that story well, is we did a show at the Fringe once with American folk, and we didn't do Bob Dylan in the show, and then someone yelled out "Judas," and we had to put it back in. So I'm going to do a little song before the break, a little song called "Last Steam Engine Trains." This is by one of my favourite North Carolina blues players, Doc Watson. And so Doc Watson basically, this is a song by John Fay actually, but he made this one famous. And then I heard Leo Kottke's version of Doc Watson's version of John Fay's song. So this is my version of Doc Watson's version of Leo Kottke's version of John Fay's song, "Last Steam Engine Train." And we'll finish on this first set. Thank you. By the way, that start of the other train song used to be a lot lamer. It used to be that train thing, and then Corey blew a little train whistle, and I think it got so embarrassing from the first show we never actually ever did it ever again. So
I would have done it. I just don't know where the whistle went.
Actually, it was so amazing that someone from the crowd stole the whistle.
Ah, that was what it was. Yeah. Okay, nice. Yeah. It was amazing.
I signed it.
You really missed out on that one.
$100 for it.
By the way, in the break, we have a little main list there. If you want to write your name on the main list in the break, we'll give you your own blues name in the second set. So, and it's hilarious. Thank you. We'll do a short break. We'll be back with the Texas Blues after this. Thank you. Thank you.